Hi guys, this is Jordan from P&P Campers. I'm just going to be doing your handover video on your Burstner Ixeo. It's a time model, and if I just go around the other side, I can give you the exact number. So it's a time IT586 Sovereign. So a pretty well top of the range model based on the 130 multi-jet Fiat Ducato chassis. So this is on the automatic. So you do have the extra automatic transmission fluid reservoir down there just behind the air filter. So all of your sort of refillable fluids and things like that on these cabs are over on this left hand side here. So we've got easily accessible the washer fluid. This cover here, once you've taken this off, you can get to these two under here. So you've got power steering fluid and engine coolant. You've then got your brake fluid attached to the servo behind it, and the engine oil and dipstick for that there, just there. The kind of bluey grey colour on the cab is Fiat 691. Air conditioning information is all just here. Because the engine battery sits under the floor in the cab, if I just point out to you where that is, so you can see this little sort of plastic floor cover, that is what covers up the engine battery. So because of that, and because of the fact that it's not particularly accessible, they do give you the option of jump starting from under the bonnet. So you've got a positive terminal under this little cover and a negative terminal just here. So if you want to jump start the vehicle, you've got points under the bonnet, so you can do that from there. So inside the passenger door, we've got the bonnet release handle itself, and the fuel filling point just there, so your diesel filling point. Further towards the back on this near side, so you've got this middle locker. Now this is one of the most important lockers really. So you've got your freshwater tank just here on the left hand side. So to fill the fresh tank up, you take the little cap off just there, and then that allows you to fill the fresh tank up. You can also, Burstner have been quite clever with this, you can also take this out and use the, your hand access in there to clean the tank out if you want to. You've then also got the drain. So your freshwater drain off point is you twist this part at the top, and then it will drain all the water out from the fresh tank down onto the floor. You've also got in this cupboard your hookup point. So you lift up this flap, and then you can pull the hookup cable through the floor there and then plug it in to the hookup point just there. You've also got pipe drains and boiler drain. So if you wanted to drain out, if you really wanted to winterize the vehicle down, to drain the boiler out, all you have to do is twist that blue tab at the top there, and the little blue button at the bottom there will pop out. Once that blue button at the bottom is popped out, all the water from inside the boiler will drain out directly onto the floor. And then to get it to go sort of back close, push the little blue button in and twist the cap at the top so that it looks like it does now. At the back, the little yellow one is basically just a pipe drain. So if you wanted to drain, really winterize the vehicle, you can lift that upright and it will drain any more excess water out onto the ground. Underneath here, we've got your wastewater drain off point as well. You can see just slowly dripping out. This little arm here, it does need a handle to go onto that to twist it open and close. So we obviously will provide you one when you pick the vehicle up. So wastewater drain at the bottom here, freshwater drain on the top of the tank, and then your boiler and pipe drains all in this one area just here, which I really like. It's annoying when they're always in completely different places, but that makes life a lot easier. So next door to that cupboard, we've got here, this is your Truma boiler vent. So anytime you've got heating or hot water on, you will feel hot air coming out through this, and you'll also see condensation building up here as well. That's completely normal. External TV aerial point, very rarely going to use that, to be honest, because you have got the satellite dome on the roof, which you probably can't see from here. Oh, there you go. satellite dome up there on the roof. So very, very rarely. That's just going to be a factory thing that they do. But that's a max view external aerial socket. You've also got, as a sort of extra on this one, you've got the external hot and cold water point. So you have got what looks like a brand new hot and cold socket to plug into here. It's almost like an air fitting, the way that they work. So you just sort of push it in, and then you've got literally hot and cold left and right and a switch. So very, very easy there. Further towards the back, we've then got the toilet cassette locker. So this is a Thetford toilet cassette. You have actually got as well the bench seat style toilet. So you've got the double size toilet cassette, which is always good. So to take this out, we'll lift up on the little green tab here, and then we can pull the cassette all the way out. That will then come all the way out. All you need to know from there, really, this little handle bit should be behind these little lugs, but I'll do that when I've got two hands free. All you need to know really is that you've got the actual way to drain it out is by turning this around and taking this cap, little cap off. And when you're actually draining it out, you should be holding that little green button down at the back. Basically just a pressure release valve, and yeah, easy as that. The cap here, when you take it off, you'll also notice that it's got measurements on it, like a measuring cup. So that's to do with your blue fluid going back in the cassette. So if you want to put like 1 or 2 of those cap full back into the cassette, give it a little swoosh around and then push it all the way back in until you hear the click. But that is the toilet cassette. Nice and easy. So at the back of the van, you can see we've got the twin reversing cameras. So you've got one camera that looks straight back and you've got one that looks straight down. So you've got one basically like a rear view mirror, and the other one there on the left is to help you reverse right up to things. 2 vents at the back here, both to do with your fridge. So if you wanted to take the vents off there and get access to the fridge for whatever reason, then you can do that from there. That's more so for us really. You know, so if you ever needed a new burner or something like that, then that just gives us access. But nothing particularly interesting behind there, to be fair. You have got tow bar and the 2 arms on the left and right to actually fit one of the tow arms. If you wanted the bar going all the way across, you can do that. Not sure sort of what has been used for in the past, if you like, but it is all there if you want to use it as a tow bar. So at the back, we have got the gas locker. So the gas system on this particular van at the moment is being run and fed from the underslung tank. So the underslung tank, there is a little symbol for it just here, is about in line with this underneath the vehicle. So you don't even really see it. So that is what's feeding the gas system at the moment. But you can also, if you want to, so as you can see, if I just quickly explain how this has been set up, if you like. This pipe on the left-hand side, which is behind this little sort of retainer that goes up to this little valve sort of checker up here, is basically just telling you the amount of gas that's in your underslung tank. So you've got half a tank in there at the moment, which is quite a lot of gas for an underslung tank. So you then also got this other one here on the right, which comes up to the regulator, and then you've got another pipe that goes down and up, and then it goes into the vehicle. So that's basically the pipe that's feeding the vehicle with its gas. But as we speak, at the moment, the actual gas system that's being used is that underslung tank, and that's from that pipe there. So if you wanted to, I mean, it's not a big job whatsoever, but if you wanted to swap over from the underslung tank to the normal propane bottles in the locker, all you'd have to do is get under the vehicle and isolate the tank, the underslung tank, which is just by taking the little cover off and turning the valve. Isolate that, and then come in here, take this nut off here, and then put one of these pigtails on from the bottle instead. That's all you'd have to do. You just basically have to change the gas that's feeding into the regulator. So if you wanted to do that in the future for whatever reason, then you can do. If not, just keep using it on the underslung tank. But there you go, the option's yours. So you got the full size awning at the top just there. Awning light out here, which I'm assuming is that switch. Yep. Nice bright LED lights on this one. So you have also got, just in case you didn't know, this is the extra wide door. Burstner have been doing this for a little while, and it's something I really quite like. It does actually make a pretty nice difference. Normally you have to kind of squeeze in a bit to get into these doors, but this is absolutely massive. Right, so I'll just get under here a second so I can show you what we've got going on. So the underslung tank itself is that one just there, as you can see. Just having a little look under here. Okay, so you have actually got as well, this little red part that's coming out here at the bottom is actually a little cover for an external gas point. So if you wanted to use the external gas, there's a little valve just here to isolate that. So that is up to you. If you want to use that, you can do. Okay, just trying to look. I didn't do the hab check on this particular vehicle, so it's kind of new to me. I'm just trying to find out where the filling point is for that the underslung tank. Unless I've just walked straight past it. No, goes over that way. Okay, so I might have to do another short video at the end of this one just to point out where the filling point is, because I should have asked that before I started, really. So I will do that in just a minute, just unless... Yeah, right, so there'll be another little video as well as this one, just to show you where the filling point is for the underslung tank. This locker at the front, just before I carry on, is literally just storage. Nothing particularly interesting about it, to be fair. But yeah, there you go. So inside the vehicle itself, a bit more interesting. If I quickly just run you through the cab. So the cab itself, as I said, is the automatic cab. So these auto boxes are so easy to use. You literally push it up and to the right for neutral, straight down for reverse, and then let it go to the left for drive. You can select auto or manual mode in the drive mode, and all that really means is that, so this is where you got it into drive here. So this is neutral, and that's drive. If you push it once to the left like that, like a button, you can switch between automatic and manual. If you get to manual mode, you just have to do this to change the gear. So it's like a Tiptronic kind of gearbox in that sense. So easy as that. If you want to just leave it in automatic, you just literally put it down like that. And as long as it has an A next to the number on the dash, then you're good to go. You've got the cruise control functionality on here, that lower left-hand stalk. You've got a nice double DIN sized head unit up there with sat-nav button there as well, which is always handy. You've then got air conditioning from here. You've got your downhill assist and various other little bits and pieces. You've got the hazard warning lights from there. Reversing screen, or the camera screen if you like, is up there. You've then also got the electric adjusting mirrors and windows. In the cab, you've got the full pull across blinds. So literally just squeeze on those two little tabs there and the blinds will come together and meet in the middle with a little magnetic strip. And you've got the same on the side doors as well. So you've got the exact same ones all around. Both of these front seats swivel round. So you've got this little handle here. So you pull towards you and then the seat will swivel all the way around. That's the same on both. And you've got the nice modern cup holder section down there as well. Right. So first things first, we've got the control panel up here, just to your left as soon as you walk in the habitation door. So these nice new Burstner control panels are so simple and I absolutely love them. So what you've got is a on switch here and an off switch here. All right, so easy as that. If you want your 12-volt power on, press 12 volt. You'll then get the little amber light come on there telling you that it's on. Above that, we've got a level indicator sort of meter, if you like. So on the left-hand side here, we've got one button at the front, one button at the back. The front one is going to show us the engine battery voltage on the top scale, 12.5 volts. And then the back one is going to show us the leisure battery voltage, 12.25 volts. So that is how you check your battery levels. We've then got the fresh tank indicator and the waste tank indicator. So if you press the top one, what's that there? Quarter of a tank. So we're looking at the bottom scale there. Quarter of a tank of fresh water and nothing in the waste tank. That's absolutely perfect. And the last thing is this water pump switch here on the right hand side. So I've got that on. So in this particular vehicle, and in a lot of German vehicles, Burstners, whatever it is, you'll have what's called a submersible pump. So the submersible style pump is one that literally sits inside the tank in the water. The other type of pump that you can get is like an inline pump where it works on pressure, whereas these submersible pumps work via 12-volt power. So they have to be switched on in order to run. And what I mean by that is every single tap in this vehicle has got what's called a micro switch inside the actual mechanism. So if I pull the tap up, if you just listen, the little clicking noise, I don't know if you can hear it on the video or not, but the little clicking noise that you can hear is a little piece of metal like this, and it's just doing that basically, and creating the circuit for the submersible pump. So what that means is that the pump will not run, even though you've got it switched on up here. So you will have to have it turned on up there in order to use it, but it will not run unless you're actually using a tap. Big plus side to that is that if there is a leak that you don't know about, the pump isn't going to be running and making that leak any worse. Whereas with a normal inline pump, it would, because it would be losing pressure. So this will, you're much less likely to get really horrible leaks in something like this with a submersible pump, because the only time you're ever going to see a leak is if you're actually using the tap. But there you go. They've both got pros and cons, but there you go. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you come into the van, if you want to use your hot water and things like that, just make sure that you're up to pressure. First thing you want to do, turn your pump switch on up there, and then just come to this sink over here. So what you want to do, pull the cold water through like that, and then twist round to the hot. And just by doing that has proven to me that the boiler's full of water and we've got no air in the system. So if the boiler wasn't full, when I turned it round to the hot side just then, we wouldn't get any water coming through here, and definitely not a decent pressure like you just saw. So the hot side of the system has to have the boiler full up in order to come through to the tap. So just by doing that, just by literally putting the hot and cold through and just seeing that there's good pressure coming through, that then just tells us we can forget about that now. We're up to pressure, boiler's full, and we can just sort of go about our day if you like. But it is important to do that, because if the boiler's not full up and you try and heat the water up, then you're going to run into some problems. So just by doing that, it can save you a lot of money in the long run. So once you've done that, you can then, as I said, go ahead and use the boiler however you want to, but I'll run you through that in just a minute. I've got a few other bits to show you first. So just here in this cupboard underneath the sink, we have got the gas isolating valves. So we've got the oven and grill, boiler, fridge, and your 3-burner hob. So that's what each one of those does. If you want to isolate any of those, you literally just twist it 90 degrees, and that gas now is completely isolated to this. So the only reason you would ever do that, really, is if you thought there was an actual problem with a specific appliance. So if you thought, for example, that the cooker was leaking gas, if you thought you could smell gas without using any of these, you might want to isolate it from here, and then you can just forget about that for that point of time and get it checked when you're back home, for example. But that really is the only reason you would use that. Down low, as I said, you've got your oven and grill. It is the smaller version of it, but you have got the optional igniter, which is always handy. From there. And at the bottom, you just got a little bit extra storage in there. Nice big wardrobe in here. Not wardrobe, sorry. Storage cupboard. The bit in the middle just here is because the gas lock was there, just in case you were wondering. That's why you can't really use that area. But there you go. Lots of overhead storage. Really, really deep. Goes all the way to the back just there. I don't think the camera really does it much justice, really, but there you go. Right, so we've got the motorhome Wi-Fi, which I didn't know about, actually, in here. So there will be paperwork for that, and it looks like you got a little bit up there for the signal finder. So yeah, there you go. Motorhome Wi-Fi, satellite dome on the roof, lots of nice extras on this particular van. So the fridge, I'll just pull the handle there to open it up. So this is a Dometic 3-way fridge, and it is also an AES fridge, which means automatic energy selector. So it means that you've got this little A button on here, which if you select it, it should basically just select one of the 3 options for you automatically. I've always said that I think that's a little bit of a lazy way of doing it. And the only reason I say that is because sometimes the automatic function can just get it wrong. And you'll find that you'll come to the fridge and it won't be cold because it's tried to select the wrong energy for you. So I always recommend doing it manually because it's so easy, but it's up to you. So if I just switch it off, when you turn it on, you've basically got the option of either 240 volt, gas, or 12 volt. So these first two, 240 volts, when you're hooked up, and the gas are the only 2 that will work this fridge and make it cold by itself. The 12 volt here is for when your engine's running only, and all it really does is retain the temperature that you've already put inside the fridge. So it is really important to pre-cool the fridge either on the mains or the gas first before you leave, and then switch over to 12 volt whilst you drive. You've then got the temperature function on here. And this one on the right hand side is basically if you have a fault code come up, it will flash in a certain sequence at you to tell you what the fault code is, but that's all that is there. And there you go. So that's how you use the fridge. It also does tell you here, this little symbol here is basically telling you if you have a gas lockout, or basically if the gas doesn't light up, you can press and hold this, and it will like reset it, so you can try it again. But yeah, you shouldn't really have that problem, but there you go. It just tells you there anyway. All right, so to the right of the fridge, as I said, we've got your boiler controller here. So this is a Truma iNet Ready boiler controller. So the way that it works is that you've got a couple of different symbols along the top here. Hopefully you can see this all right. So this little first symbol that's flashing at us now is our, if I press it properly, is the heating. So press that and then you can select your temperature, and then when you press go, it will then come to life. As long as you select a temperature that's hotter than it is inside, obviously, then it will come to life. You'll then get a little flame symbol up here come on, and that will tell you that the heating is on. The other one to the right of that, which is flashing, is the hot water symbol, because I've got that on at the moment. So if I go over the hot water symbol here, click on that one, we've got the option of eco, hot, or boost. Okay, so that's basically how you switch on either of those two. We've then got the option of gas, mix 1, mix 2, or just electric. So that's either a mixture of electric on 4 amps or a mixture of electric on 8 amps. And that is basically just is what it is. You just have gas and electric at the same time, or electric on its own, 1 or 2 as well. But for the time being, we've only got the gas, so we'll leave it like that. The last one is you've got eco, high or boost on the fan, and that is basically just how quickly you want the air to pump through these little grey, or sorry, the little beige vents around the bottom. Right, so that is how you use the heating and the hot water. So you can change the temperature, go all the way back down again, and then to off. That turns the heating off. If you want to turn the hot water off, go to off on the hot water one. And then as long as there's no symbols across the top just here, the boiler's off. And there you go. You can turn that screen completely off if you want to by pressing and holding on this middle button. But for the most part, you're just going to want to leave it like this. The screen does go sort of really dim when you're not using it. It should do it any second now. And then, you know, it's going to be using next to no power at all. There you go. Okay, so in this wardrobe here, again, a pretty decent size to be fair. You've got a little sensor light just there that somebody's fitted. So in the corner, we have got the trip switches over here for the mains. A couple of 12-volt sockets and a mains socket in there. You've then got your solar controller up the top just there. That is a duo controller, so that's going to be charging up both engine and leisure battery. And then we've got the satellite receiver box. So that is off at the moment. But when you switch that on, it will all light up. And then it starts to spin round inside the cover and try and find whatever satellite you've set this to. So really, you're going to want to be on Astra 2. Once you set it to Astra 2, it should lock on, and it will tell you there, power, and then it should light up saying lock once it's locked on. Once it's done that, you should then really have signal coming through to your sockets, just here. It really is as easy as that. So, I mean, I'll switch it on because why not, so you can see it. But I very much doubt it's going to lock on because we're inside at the moment. So, just see that there. Astra 2 South. So that noise you can hear is just basically the satellite spinning around inside the casing. As I say, I'd be very surprised if it does lock on, but we'll see. It's just trying now. No, I don't think it's going to. All right, so I'll switch that off for now. It's not going to lock on because we're inside, so it would really have to try quite hard to lock on inside. But that's how you use that. Just switch it on that receiver box. It will spin around until it has to, and it will lock on and stop spinning. You'll know about it when it stops spinning for a few reasons. You won't hear it anymore, obviously, but also it will say lock on the receiver box. So in the bathroom, we've got the shower point just here. So the shower point is the same as the sink in the kitchen, same as the one over here in the sink as well. Literally just hot and cold, lift up left or right, super easy. The light switch for the bathroom is over here. So the toilet is normally the only bit that I actually sort of run through because a lot of people haven't used these particular toilets before. So what you've got is basically a switch just here. When you press it once, it will come up like a little green symbol, and then press it again, and that is how you get the flush fluid to come round. Pull this little handle towards you to drain it out into the cassette, and then push it back like that. Nice and easy. This sink does swivel round if you need it to, and then you've got relatively small but useful bit of storage in here. Okie dokie. Right, so I think that is about it really, to be fair. if there is anything you think I've missed out or anything you want going over again, just let us know. I know I've got to do that little video in just a second for the gas filling point, but I will do that now. But yeah, so if there's anything you think I've missed out, apart from that, obviously, then just let us know. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.